Welcome back. The city of Lagos has hosted one of the most successful marathons in the history of Nigeria. More than 20,000 athletes from different parts of the world competed in the race with no casualties or incidents recorded. Those who were part of the 2016 Access Bank Lagos City Marathon described the level of security provided and medical attention as world-class.
The story of the successful hosting of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon is not complete without the important roles played by the security and medical personnel and volunteers.
It's something that we had prepared for. We had and the group of people that formed the LOC to, I think, reasonably experienced. And we have worked together, gone through thick and thin. There had been some hurdles that we needed to cross, and we thank God we were able to cross them.
The Nigerian Army, Navy and police officers ensured that athletes are properly protected, particularly from spectators who wanted to get close to the runners. Volunteers within the country and from the United States also contributed to the success, some of them medical practitioners who were on hand to help athletes who finished the race.
I'm so grateful with the nurses, the doctors, they are amazing. They were on point. And sometimes when you hear Nigeria, especially stuff done in Africa, you think it's like a substandard. But this is international standard to me. I live in New York City. I witness the New York City Marathon all the time. And this meets that expectation.
I think the event ran very smoothly. With anything you organizing on this capacity, there's going to be some hiccups, but everything seemed to work out and go smoothly, and everyone seemed satisfied. And I enjoyed it.
Two of the athletes who slumped at the finish line were promptly taken care of by the medical team. The success story can be attributed to the contributions made by the team, who made sacrifices.
I'm happy they came with their own money, paid their way here. But more importantly, were the volunteers within the age of 18 and 25 from within Nigeria, people who left their schools to come and volunteer.
I'm very lucky. I'm joined here by a lot of wonderful people here, different walks of life, but they all came out and spent the whole day. We've been at this for close to a month.
Having watched the marathon, President Confederation of African Athletics Hamad Malboum is confident Nigeria can successfully host the African Senior Athletics Championships in 2018.
Nigeria has the capability to host one of the most successful events, because I believe that because I had the full support of the government, we have the full support of the sports authorities and also the full support of the Athletic Federation.
With this edition completed and lessons learned, officials and supporters will be working towards a better event scheduled for February the 11th, 2017.
16 minutes and 19 seconds. Abraham Gibson!
Well, exciting time it must have been on Saturday. Joining me now on the News at 10 to assess the success of the Lagos Marathon is the chairman of the Lagos Sports Commission, Mr. Deji Tinubu. Thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you very much.
I can just imagine the energy that was out there on Saturday on the streets of, all the routes that were taken. You were there. Did you run?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I'd done mine a week ago.
You stayed on the sidelines. Okay, anyway. But the marathon has finally been concluded. Did it achieve the primary objective?
It did. It did. What we wanted to do was an event that would showcase Lagos, that would put Lagos on the map, an event that would include Lagosians, an event that would show the excellence of Lagos, the hospitality of Lagos, and an event primarily to show what Governor, His Excellency Akinwumi Ambode, has been saying about sports. He thinks and strongly believes that sports can be massive in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, and it could be used as a tool to boost tourism, to keep the youths engaged, and then just create a sports culture and obviously eventually a sports industry in Lagos.
And also a spirit of community, as we see there, lots of people came from all walks of life to volunteer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, what we tried to do was create a volunteer force for future use. So we asked nearly everyone to nominate people. So we had a volunteer force of nearly 1,000 people. And then the key thing is put them on a database And if we have events, it doesn't have to be sports. You've got a group of people and that you can rely on to do stuff for you.
Well, we're not known as a marathon running country, so why did Lagos State choose to host the event?
Now, we're talking about inclusion. You're talking about an event or kind of thing where there's mass participation. Remember in Christmas, the one Lagos Fiesta, 5 different local governments, everybody included, everybody allowed to watch free of charge and all that. So he now brought that, the governor brought that into sports. You know, it's not like football where in the stadium, I mean, when was the last time you had 25,000 people watching a football match in Nigeria? Very long time ago. But we had over 20,000 people running the marathon and another tens of thousands watching and cheering them on. And of course, another couple of thousands behind the scenes who made it work.
Well, we have to talk about the people who did not participate in the marathon, but who had to run or trek by themselves, Lagosians who didn't sit at home and who didn't participate either. You know, people had to go to places and then people still had to walk. What do you have to say to them?
Well, I would say we're a little bit sorry for the inconvenience, but at the same time, you know, look at the bigger picture. Lagos was up there throughout Saturday. Majority of people were happy about what happened. We're happy to take part and very, very content that they finished the marathon. You had people coming up the road into the end gantry, and then you try and stop them. They say, no, 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 I must complete, I must finish. And people satisfied that they actually completed the 42.1 kilometers. So yes, maybe a couple of people were a bit inconvenienced, but the key thing was we're trying to bring Lagos together. We're trying to get everyone in Lagos to feel the impact of the government and be part of Lagos.
Well, I'm sure this will continue, I mean, in subsequent years, but what would you do differently next time? Oh,
you know, this hasn't been done in 30 years. So obviously we had our challenges, and obviously things came up that we didn't expect. So that's already given us a template for the one next year. A lot of things we would do, more water points, get more volunteers, and I think you know, get more. I wouldn't even say volunteers. Aside the volunteers, get the people who are watching to also be a part of the marathon.
Well, I must say, what an event it was on Saturday, and a lot of people will probably be taking a week off to rest off the marathon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
On the News at 10.
Thank you.
Now to sports news. Nigeria will host the 2018 Africa Athletics Senior Championships. Speaking to Channel Sports in Lagos, the president of the Confederation of African Athletics, Hamad Kalkaba, says the country has what it is required to deliver a world-class event. He also confirmed that Nigeria and the CAA have signed an agreement to establish a high-performance center in Jos for the development of long-distance race athletes.
Nigeria has the capability to host one of the most successful events, because I believe that because I had the full support of the government, we have the full support of the sports authorities, and also the full support of the Athletic Federation. I know Dr. Ogba is a very leading person in sports in Africa, in Nigeria, and he's committed to serve the pride of our continent. He's supporting me really, and I appreciate that. We set up a strategy to build a strong event and good event that could interest the television from Africa, but also from the world.
The Democratic Republic of Congo have won 2016 African Nations Championship following a 3-0 win over Mali. Elia Meshak scored twice, including a goal of the tournament's contender to lead coach Florent Ibenga's side to victory at the Stadium TBD in Rwanda. In third place match, Côte d'Ivoire beat Guinea by 2-1.
Look at that drive into the corner, an absolute beauty.
Meanwhile, quick-fire goals from Mesut Ozil and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain have helped Arsenal closed the gap on leaders Leicester to 5 points as the title race continues to hot up in the English Premier League. The midfield pair netted within 88 seconds of each other in the first half to give the Gunners all 3 points, despite Bournemouth's best efforts to mount a comeback. In the days of the game, Diego Costa scored a stoppage time equaliser as Chelsea held Manchester United to a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge. To the arts now. MH Sarkis is a Lebanese-born, Nigerian-raised and a London-resided artist whose paintings are results of private cross-cultural experiences and an unusual personal reality. In Sarkis's works, unity, colonialism and identity appear subtly through a play on contemporary portraiture and figuration involving a characteristic carving technique. Art Review tonight looks into Sarkis, a multinational artist whose home is her heart.
What do you get when you are born in one country, raised in another, and reside in a third? The answer is a mind filled with creativity and connections to culture. Meet MH Sarkis, a Lebanese-born, Nigerian-raised and London-residing artist whose paintings are the results of private cross-cultural experiences and an unusual personal reality.
I was always drawing growing up. I liked sharing my work with adults, and so I was trying to figure out how can I reconcile my past in Lagos as a migrant and bring it to my present state. And so a lot of the time the canvas provides that convergence of these different disparate elements.
In Sarkis's work, notions of cultural tensions or unity, colonialism and identity appear subtly through a play on contemporary portraiture and figuration involving a characteristic carving technique.
I'm interested in lesser-known stories, lesser-known realities, and when I came across an archival image of Senegalese soldiers who were under the French forces and deployed in Lebanon, because Lebanon was also a French colony, that was something that really intrigued me, and I could see a further connection between Lebanon or the Middle East, West Africa or Sub-Saharan Africa, and that really, inspired me given my background as well. There's always underlying themes that will always be there, but with regards to style, there is a coherent style throughout each, but I employ that carving technique, my technique of digging into the fresh workable paint in varying degrees at times, so it's not always the same. Not every piece is the same or done in exactly the same way.
Exposure can be beautiful, especially if it is on positive things. And MH Sarkis is a testament that it's not just about where you are from, but what you take with you as you move on.
The UN Security Council has emerged from its emergency meeting condemning North Korea's launch of a long-range rocket, while the UNSC says it would soon adopt a new sanction resolution in response to the action. The U.S. ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, said Washington will now ensure the Security Council imposes serious consequences on North Korea. However, North Korean media has hailed the launch as a fascinating vapor trailing in the clear blue sky in spring of February on the threshold of the Day of the Shining Star.
Of the Security Council strongly condemn this launch.
The accelerated development of North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile program poses a serious threat to international peace and security. We're looking forward to expeditiously consulting with our colleagues in the coming days, and we will be looking to all council members to unite around a swift and aggressive response.
And the main news again. The Speaker of the House of Representatives today called on the global community to come to the aid of internally displaced persons in Nigeria, having done same for Syria and Ukraine. And former President Olusegun Obasanjo has told those expecting that the Chibok girls will be found to seek other options. According to him, anyone who's telling Nigerians that the Chibok girls will be found someday is telling a big lie. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.